should have been a fat red flag. What is up, you guys? It's your girl, Crummy Jess, coming back at you with another video. I have like 30 minutes to film this video, so let's just get right into it. This is the story of how I lied to get out of detention, got caught, and got suspended. Let me just take you back 2 years. It was my senior year. At my high school, you have a 1 hour lunch. Unless you have bad grades, then they cut it down to 30 minutes. And you spend the other 30 minutes in your homeroom catching up on your grades. I also had a detention. Detention started as soon as my lunch started, so I had to go from homeroom to detention for 15 minutes. That left me with a 15-minute lunch, and that's not enough time to get food. I called up my mom in between classes, and I was like, Mom, listen, I'm starving. I have a detention. I don't have enough time. Is there any way you can call the school and tell them I have a doctor's appointment?
My mom was like, it's a horrible idea, but I mean, like, sure.
So, my mom calls the school, tells them I have a doctor's appointment, tells them I need to leave at 11:30. I get out of class, I go to the office, I sign out, but there was no one in the office at the time. This should have been a fat red flag. So I sign myself out, I leave, I get in my best friend's car, we go to her house. I literally have a note from my mom to get the heck out of school, so I don't need to be back by the end of lunch. So we come back in the middle of 5th period at 1 p.m. That's 30 minutes into 5th period, I believe, walking into the office together. And I'm signing back in, and the principal comes out and says, Jessica, I've been looking for you. I immediately panicked. My anxiety went from here to here. Mind you, I'm not a bad kid. I don't do a lot of bad things. Like, yeah, I skipped class a lot, but I never lied to skip class. I'm freaking out. He takes me and my best friend at the time back to his office, and he sits us down and he says, so where were you? And I, in my head, am doing mental acrobatics, trying to line up every lie and keep everything straight so that I know my story from front to back, and there's no way that he can catch me in this lie. I say, I was at the doctor's office. He asked me, what time did you leave? I signed out at 11:30 and left the school, and there was nobody in the office. And he said, well, you can't just sign out and leave. You have to tell somebody. Okay, I'm sorry. I did own up to that mistake. Then he asks me again, what time did you leave? What time did you get to your doctor's office? What time did you leave your doctor's office? All of these weird, specific questions that I didn't really feel like made any sense, but I just kept answering because I was not about to let this motherfucker catch me in a lie. And so he asks me, when did you leave school? Again, I said 11:30. He said, when did you get to your doctor's office? I said 11:45. He said, when was your appointment? I said 12. He asked me when I left, I said 12:45, and he asked me when I got back to the school, and I said 1, and 5th period was almost over. He had been interrogating me for about 15 minutes straight, and I was determined not to crack, and I think he knew that. What he did next was bullshit. And I say it's bullshit, I mean it was bullshit. He tells me, facts over proof from your doctor's office that you were at the doctor's, and I'll let you back into class. I said, what? Go outside and call your mom. Have her call your doctor's office and tell them to fax over proof that you were at the doctor's office. I pick up my phone and I call my mom. And the conversation goes a little bit like this.
Mom, he said I have to fax over proof that I was at the doctor's office.
What?
He said I had to fax proof that I was at the doctor's office or he's not going to let me back in class.
Tell him that I said that's a fucking waste of time and I'll see you when you get home. Click.
So, here I am on the front steps of the school, trying not to cry, nervous as fuck to go back into the principal's office and tell him that my mom pretty much said to fuck off. I gather myself, I breathe a few times, I pick up my bag, and I walk back in. I stand there against the wall for what seems like 5 minutes, but was probably just 2, until he finally acknowledges me and says, well, stood up a little bit straighter and said, my mom said she's not going to do that and that it's a waste of time. He kind of stares at me for a minute and then lifts up his hand and says, "Get off school grounds. You're dismissed until tomorrow." He fucking suspended me until tomorrow because I was at the motherfucking doctor's office. Whether or not I was actually at the office didn't fucking matter because I had my mom call out, and I'm pretty fucking sure that he cannot ask me to fax over proof that I was at the doctor's office. Anyways, for the next few days that I was at school that week, it seemed he was lurking around every corner trying to catch me in anything that he could, so I made sure I was watching my back for the rest of that week. If you guys enjoyed this story, thumbs up. I hope you liked it. Leave a comment down below if you have any terrible principal stories. Share with your friends. This has been Crummy Jess, and I will talk at you later.